There we go. Hey, you
there
can
we
hear us,
are.
but now you can finally see us. Hello, everybody. You know, this technology, it's so confusing sometimes.
I know you think that everything is going well. I don't even know why that just happened, but welcome to Healing Journeys today. This is HARTbeat.
That's right.
We are Julieann and Butch Hartman.
That's right. I'm the Butch part. She's the Julieann part. And we are
Yes.
not in Hawaii this week.
This backdrop is real. We're home.
Yeah, we are now
See,
home. Actually, we're in our office. And the backdrop last week was real too. But
that was real. You're right.
Do you know what's interesting? We got a comment last week that when we were in Hawaii, someone said, "Why are you guys saying you're in Hawaii and everybody can afford to go to Hawaii?" And I said, "Well, I didn't say this on."
Wait, what?
But I just want to say, like, why shouldn't we say we're in Hawaii? That's where we were. I don't understand what the issue is.
It's unfortunate, but some people,
Yeah.
make their comments, and we want nice comments. So if you make a nasty one, we're going to delete it.
Yes, and
Just know that.
Also, we were in Hawaii and we didn't just go for vacation. We took a bunch of people with us.
Yeah, we don't have to explain ourselves. But,
well, exactly. Yeah. But the bottom line is we took others with us. We enjoyed it, and we hopefully enlightened a bunch of other people.
We did. It was
because
so
we
much
want to
fun.
inspire you guys to do great things too. And I get inspired by all kinds of people in the world, don't you?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, if anything, you aspire to be able to go there, and so you start, saying, as we say, that you don't say, "How am I ever going to afford it?" Just say, I will afford it. Show me, Lord. If you're watching this, then, I know that, this is a Christian platform. And so we're saying, okay, Lord, show us how we afford it.
Right.
Not like, oh, how can I afford it? No, show us how to afford to do it. And that's really exciting. And so anyway, attitude is everything.
So anyway, we had a great time. We haven't been in Hawaii for a while. We went to the big island it's just called Hawaii is the big island. And we were in the town of Kona, this amazing hotel. But the climate in Hawaii is beautiful. And it was great to get away. It's very humid there.
Yes.
It's a lot more humid. And we had some great time in the water. But we really went to a conference called the Increase Conference. And they have 2 conferences a year. We'll tell you all about it later. But the Increase Conference is a Christian conference for Christians to learn how to increase their spiritual self, their financial self, just everything about themselves. And you're in a room with hundreds of people that want to increase and grow.
Like-mindedness.
Not for greed reasons, but to bless the kingdom. That's what it was about. And that's what I love.
That's what's so exciting is that, there's all kinds of ways that we can grow, and it's not just grow with our muscles or grow with our finances, but it's spirit, soul, and body that you can grow in all ways. So that's really exciting. And so Earl just said that he needs restoration of his marriage after divorce. And so you know what, Earl, you just keep listening to messages that are going to help you through this time. I'm so sorry that even happened. And I know that, it's like it's no one's plan to ever get divorced. But
we are both children of divorced parents.
Yeah. So it does happen. So I just want you to know that, yes, we pray for the peace that surpasses all understanding to guard your heart and for you to not keep dwelling on what's already in the past and try to move forward.
Right.
Trying to say forward and future at the same time. Try to move forward. And I'll tell you one thing that I loved about this conference that we were just at is there were people up there speaking about they'd lost spouses, they'd lost children, they had lost, all kinds of things, where people have, died, spouses and all that. But everyone that did got up there and said, you have to move on. You can't stay there. You've got to move on. So so no matter what it is, whether it's a divorce or it's, due to something horrible, either way, you have to move on.
And listen, we're not saying it's easy. We're not just going, oh, easy for you to say. We get it completely. But we do want that offense that can always come in a situation like this, where you're offended at your ex-spouse, they're offended at you. Maybe people around you are offended at them. How could they treat you this way? That offense will drag you straight down into the darkness. And that's one of the enemy's tools is offense. The enemy will use offense to make you think that you're better than someone. And being offended at someone is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And,
it's like you're intending it for the other person,
right?
But you're drinking it yourself,
right? Because it's like, an offense means you're holding something over somebody, so you feel superior to them, and it feels so good to be offended sometimes. Like, you don't know what they did to me. Listen, we can all point out a million stories of being offended. In fact, we were just talking about something right before we got on the air here, and it's like, well, we've got to look beyond that situation, because the Lord has so many great things in store for us that if I were to stay back here and stay behind the wall of offense, I would never get to look out front. And that's something we should all understand.
Yeah. And also too, is that, we do a lot. We have our church in the park. We have our Bible study. We deal with a lot of people. We have this platform, which we're talking to people all the time. We also have our businesses. We have more opportunities to be offended than the average person walking around. Okay. So we have that. So we have to make a solid choice every day to not be offended and to say, you know what, like a situation happened, not between us, but another situation just the other day. And so the Lord said, bring me in here. Don't leave me out. You're feeling this way. You need to bring me in to this conversation. And so that's what we did. So we prayed with the person. We prayed right away and said, Lord, we need your peace right now, your presence, not the presence of my feelings or the other person's feelings. Right. And so that really, really, really helps. And if you can't do that with the other person, you are in control of you. And so you can do that with yourself.
Yeah. Because here's the deal. The Lord didn't give you your emotions. What? The Lord didn't give me my emotions? No. Adam and Eve gave you your emotions. He was a fallen, flawed man who we've all inherited those emotions from. So, the Lord made us to not be afraid, made us to not be in fear, made us to not be, scared of anything or fretful for anything. The Lord made us confident and positive. And when Adam and Eve messed up, according to the Bible, that's when everybody became more mortal and our feelings it's all about our feelings. We live in an age right now where everybody is about their feelings. It's all about how you feel, and that's it. It doesn't matter what we're building or what we're doing. If I'm offended, then you're going to know about it and everything stops so I can go not be offended somewhere. And I understand things happen and people get their feelings hurt, but it's sort of become more about that these days than anything. We're all very focused on self. And I put myself in this category too. Everyone these days is very focused on themselves, and we need to get out of that, start focusing on others and on him.
It's so funny because when we were like, the age of some of the kids right now, like we weren't allowed to do it. Nobody cared about your feelings.
Really, back in the 60s and 70s, your feelings didn't matter.
Did not matter.
They really did. It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't care.
I don't care.
My way or the highway.
Yeah, you lose your job.
Debbie here says you have to move on, but you have to grieve also. Yeah. Yes, there is absolutely time. But
the Bible talks about that time to mourn and to grieve and all that. But what we're talking about is no matter what has happened, whether you're grieving or you are mourning, you are still moving on.
Right.
You don't stop where you are at. You still move on, right? So that because you're living every day. So you're growing every day. Also, I wanted to put this up here. Where is she? I like your name, Mary Joy Joy.
Mary Joy Joy.
Offense is the bait of Satan. Don't let him get under your skin. Did you read The Bait of Satan by John Bevere? Because you are absolutely right.
The title of his book is The Bait of Satan.
That book, we have it on our table
at home.
And so we'll just be talking. I'll pick it up. Like literally you could just hit any page and you're like, oh my God, John Bevere, you're an amazing teacher. And you know what? He didn't just get that because someone else told him. Obviously he had an offense big time, in his own life. And so that's how he's able to
but he gives
really break it down.
He gives you example after example of how offense can enter in.
Yeah.
And
why how it stays.
And how it stays. And speaking of offense, the reason we're talking about this, and I love how God makes us have a segue all the time. We're talking about complimenting your spouse. Now, I want to ask all of you out there that have a spouse or a relationship that you're in.
Yeah.
And by the way,
it could be to parents.
It could be parents as well. But whatever you're dealing with, by the way, we want to hear about it in the comments. So make sure to write something in the comments if you're dealing with something. But speaking of offense, how can we avoid getting offended? One way we've learned is to compliment each other. Now you might be going, compliment each other. I do that all the time to my spouse. Maybe you do. Or maybe you don't, and you think you do. Maybe just because I didn't yell at my spouse today, that's a compliment. Just because I didn't
I didn't put him down or put
just
her
because
down.
I didn't degrade my husband today. Therefore, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
It doesn't count as a compliment.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But at least I didn't say something mean.
We knew a person a while back. We said, you really have to say something. We were counseling this individual. You really need to compliment your spouse. And the spouse says to us, well, I can't lie.
Yeah.
So they really had very little respect for their spouse. So it starts there with the respect. See, even if you don't feel like complimenting someone, if they're your spouse, if you're married to them, you chose to be married to them for a reason. I saw this thing the other day. It was a woman being interviewed, young woman, and she'd had a baby with a man.
Yeah.
And the interviewer said, why didn't you marry him? And she goes, well, he wasn't marriage material. And he goes, so he was baby material, but not marriage material. Like there was a disconnect there. Why would you have a child with somebody, but not marry them? Our parameters and our values have changed so much.
Yeah.
But if you're married to somebody and you love them, or at least you've said you love them, I'm assuming everybody got married.
Well, I would hope if you're getting pregnant by somebody that you were at least in love with, or you know.
Look at my face when I do this. But you need to compliment your spouse. For example, we made a vow to say at least one nice thing to each other before we go to bed. And sometimes
there's more things than just one.
Well, I know, but we made a vow to at least when we're going to sleep, it's like, you got to compliment me before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
So we do that. We say compliments to each other throughout the day too. It's not 24 hours of solid compliments. It's a lot. But
after 30 years of marriage, maybe you forget to compliment them. I mean, seriously, anybody that I know that has a really solid marriage, that you have to be very intentional on your marriage, like daily. Like, what can I say to Butchie that's going to make him like, because for instance, we start taking each other for granted. It's very easy to take them for granted. Like, well, you always clean the house or you always cook. That's all him. But you always do this and, you always make sure everything is taken care of, right?
Well, so do you.
No, I know. I'm just teasing. I do too. But I'm just saying though, isn't it nice to say, God, thank you so much, Butchie, for grabbing the food. Thank you so much for cleaning up the house. That, you know what? I just love the fact that you were thinking before I even addressed the situation. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you for washing all the clothes, and thank you for keeping the house clean as well, and for doing all of our book work, for all of our finances and things that we deal with. Thank you very much. And you look beautiful while you're doing it. Look at her beautiful hair. This woman's going to be 60 years old in August, and she looks amazing. Look at this girl.
I'm going to be in my favorite place, though, for my birthday.
Where's that going to be?
Charis Bible College.
For what?
For Healing is Here.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Look at how God sets me up to just win a healing conference at Charis Bible College.
It's in August.
Right. In August on my birthday, the whole week, and to be with our favorite friends and family up in Colorado, and to be with my husband and our daughter, Sophia. Unfortunately, the only thing that's kind of makes me sad is Carly will not be there.
She won't?
No, she won't. She's got too many other trips she's done with us, and she has to work. So anyway, but I'm just saying that God is just setting me up I get to see everybody, Andrew, Jamie, like the whole crew, Daniel, like everybody. And it's my birthday too. So I can't think of a better way.
Speaking of conferences, we're having another conference too.
Yes.
And when's that?
June 17th and 18th in Charlotte, North Carolina at Freedom Christian Center. This is the Healing Journeys Today in-person live conference. It is free. If you guys have already signed up and you cannot make it, please unsign yourself up because we are down to 10 tickets.
Oh, 10
we only have 10 left. So if you're not able to go, please let us know. It's a very small church.
People will sign up.
We only have a certain amount of people. Yeah. So please don't sign up because it's free. See, if we were charging, you wouldn't just sign up. You would, because you'd have to pay.
Right. But we're never going to charge for what Jesus already paid for.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, that is going to be June 17th and 18th. It's going to be amazing. It's called, my God, I just went out of my head. No Turning Back. No. The name of the conference is called No Turning Back.
I know you guys named the conference.
Yes, because the Lord gave this to me last week, and He said to call it No Turning Back, because when they leave, they are not going to go back to the old ways of thinking, the old ways of living, the old ways of the mindset. They're going to have a new everything birthed at that conference. So Amen. That's awesome. So anyway, talking about compliments, what can you do to compliment your spouse? Can you write them a little note? Can you put a little card in his car. I've done that for you many times, where I just put it on his dashboard so when he gets in his car to leave in the morning.
And you've also, I used to go on trips for business and stuff, and you'd put little envelopes with cards in my and
pictures and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What can you
all
do?
The time.
Little things, like what can you do as a man to a woman? Like I know that not a lot of men maybe would do like a photo album.
Well, I've done a lot of drawings for you.
Yes, you have.
That. In fact, I'm running across some of the ones I've done for you as we clean things out of the house and drawers and desks and things like, oh, remember I drew you this? So my thing is I draw stuff. If I don't have time, I will get a card and draw something small inside the card.
Yeah.
I get flowers for you on occasion. We just got cool matching rings for our anniversary.
Yeah.
It's our 30th anniversary. It's been a long time. There's little things. Also, I tell her things about it. I think you look really beautiful today. I like your outfit today. Yeah. Even if it's a tiny thing like that, even if she doesn't answer me, at least it's come out of my mouth. At least the words are floating there in the air. So what can you say to your spouse? There must be one thing. In fact, why don't you guys write in the comments right now, one thing that you have said, or you're going to say, or you should say to your spouse right now. Why don't
or
you write
again,
that down?
To your parent, to your mother, to your child, to your aunt, like whoever you're very close with, that you are with all the time, that you can give a compliment to, because I tell you, it's so nice. You're like, oh, you think that about me.
It's so easy to yell at people and be offended by them. And you have no idea what and I get that. I get it.
Say anything. You just go through life. Not everybody's angry. So
I think everybody is. I think everyone's angry.
But not everybody's angry. I think
everybody in this room is angry. That's what I think. The two of you, the two of us.
But no, but not everybody is, is angry or, has something at odd against anybody. But sometimes we don't even say anything, which that we need to do is to say something. So as you read in the comments,
Gretchen says, we say, hey, you're handsome or beautiful. That's
nice.
Perfect. So should I say you're beautiful or handsome? Which one would you prefer?
You can say beautiful.
You're beautiful. You're very beautiful. And she is beautiful. My gosh. Well, you should see pictures of us when we were younger. She's even more beautiful.
What do you mean I got ugly?
I meant that as a compliment. That didn't come out that way. What I meant was, I was like,
you heard it here.
I went, oh my God, cover that up. I was like, no, you know what? You look even more beautiful today than when I first married you. But you were younger, and so was I. We were both younger. Debbie says, I'm so grateful that you're in my life. We're grateful that we're in your life too.
You.
Here's Hannah says, I'm not married, but I always say I love you to my friends and family. Thank you, Hannah.
Yes, and that means so much to your friends and family. Hannah's the one that signed Good Father.
I remember that. She in sign language.
Hannah, you're amazing.
Ian says, I would tell her that I love her if I was married. Timmy's dad, I think. If we're doing a Fairly Odd Parents line. Very good. Give us some more compliments, people, because listen,
not compliments to us, but compliments that you would give.
Not so much. Yeah, compliments you'd say to other people. You can compliment us if you want to, though. But how do you compliment someone that you probably aren't feeling very happy with? How do you do that? How are you able to pull that compliment out of, thin air if for some reason that person has upset you or grieved you recently? It's not easy sometimes.
Yeah, and Rachel says, I'm going to tell my husband that his arms look big the day. I'll tell my husband that his arms look big that day as a compliment. Yes, men want to hear that.
Men like hearing guns. That. Your arms look really big. Exactly. Right. That looks really good. Way to go, Rachel. That's very nice. Okay. That's an awesome one.
Jackie says what?
I'm going to thank my husband for doing the dishes and tell him how much I appreciate him. Well, that's awesome.
That is so nice.
That's very good.
And it's so perfect because you are going to change.
And by the way,
your marriage.
Amen. And what a guy for doing the dishes, by the way. A lot of guys say, oh, that's women's work. I go, look, man. If I see dishes in the sink and they're piling up, I'm doing those dishes. I can't stand looking at dirty
And even
dishes.
if they're not yours, it's like, who cares? Don't just matter. Do them anyway. It's like, that's where.
Now, if I've done them 5 times in a row and no one else has, then I might say something like, hey, could someone else over here help with the dishes? Yeah. We have 3 people in our house, my daughter and you.
That's true.
And Sophia's very clean, though. She cleans up.
She's really
very clean person.
Her room is immaculate. And so, clean. But I mean, sometimes we leave dishes in the sink and sometimes, I'm running and I work at home mainly. So even though I'm there, does not mean that I'm there to clean, right? So we've had to go through that, or not go through it, but just talk about it. I'm there, but I'm not there as sitting there waiting to clean everything. I'm actually working in my office. So I have to also set aside time to say, okay, well, right now I'm working and I'm not here just to clean. So I can take that time out to clean. There's ways of working things out, but you do have to want to work things out.
let's ask this question as well. Why are compliments important?
Yeah,
why are they important?
Well, why are they important to you?
Well, compliments, first of all, are a sign of approval. Number one,
Okay.
hey, your hair looks good. Okay, good. Okay, my hair looks nice. Or, hey, you did a really good job on that project. I mean, compliments are everything, you guys. All of us are looking for approval every moment of the day, and very few of us get approval. Think about it.
Well, as adults anymore.
As adults, yeah, and especially as husbands and wives and parents. We're always complimenting our kids, but how often do our kids compliment us? Not that we need it. Now you're like, oh, I don't need any compliments. Let's face it, everybody likes it though. How many times have you got, and by the way, here's another one that's great for compliments. Do you ever compliment any workers in the store? If you go to if you go to a hotel, do you compliment the person behind the desk? If you go to a grocery store, do you compliment those people that have been slaving away all day? By the way, the people at Starbucks, coffee shop, you've got to compliment these people. They're working their tail off all
even
day
if
long.
You don't think they deserve it.
Yeah.
But we were just, like we said, in Hawaii, and there was this one sweet lady that was smaller than her cart that she was carrying around, to clean rooms. I mean, literally, she was so short.
The hotel, she's very tiny lady.
And from the lobby to the hotel, to the tower that we were staying at was, I'd say, about a half a mile.
To walk from the main entrance to they had like several towers on this property. It was a half a mile.
I think so. But anyway, she worked so hard, and and it was very humid. And so every time I saw her, and I kept seeing her a lot, I kept saying, thank you so much.
Yeah, she's pushing that big cart full of clothes.
Yeah, thank you so much for working so hard. And she was like, oh, I'm sweating. I'm like, I know, me too. But anyway, just, maybe you can also, there's always give her a tip, and you can always give her, the best thing you can do is pray for them. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to help compliment and to really make somebody feel special.
Let me tell you something.
There are people that we pass up and we miss? Absolutely, sometimes. But if we're intentional about it, it will change.
Yesterday, I had a situation happen where I had to go to an office to deal with my car. I had to get a license plate for my car, some DMV stuff. And I went to the desk, and there was a lady there, and it was very empty, just her and I actually at this thing. And I walked up, and I kind of know this lady a little bit, and I wanted to at least, be nice to her and compliment her. And I said, thank you so much. We did our business, whatever we had to do. I said, thank you so much. And I said, how are you, by the way? I was about to turn around. The Holy Spirit said, ask her how she is. I said, how are you? Now, do you ever get that unction from the Holy Spirit to ask somebody how they're doing? How you doing? And normally people go, I'm great, thanks. And then you walk by, everybody just kind of tosses it off. But she goes, it's hard to be a grown-up sometimes. She says this to me. And I went, wow, okay, here's an opportunity. I said, well, what's going on? And she proceeded to tell me that she has two fathers, her stepfather and her actual father. She says, both of my fathers are sick. One has Alzheimer's and one has cancer. And I said, wow, now I've got a choice to make here. Me wanting to be nice to her led me to the situation where she tells me this. So what's the first thing you should do? It's the first thing I did. My brain went like this. What would Julieann do? She would pray for this lady.
Yeah.
I said, are you a praying person? And she kind of looked at me for a second, and she says, well, and she was Jewish. And she goes, well, I'm Jewish, but I don't really practice my faith. I said, you know what? He's the God of everyone. He doesn't care if you're Jewish or anything. And she goes, and she kind of lit up a little bit. And I said, you know what? Why don't we pray right now? Can I pray for your fathers? She goes, oh, I would love that. Thank you. I took 30 seconds and I prayed for health over her parents, over her, for strength for her, and for the situation to be resolved perfectly. And she starts crying. This lady starts crying. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to come back and check on you. I want to hear how this is going. She goes, thank you. She couldn't even say thank you. She was crying. And I left. And in the desire to compliment this lady and talk to her, it led to me being able to pray for her. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So that's what you guys can do too. You can get out. And by the way, it was just, and we got to get over that self-consciousness of not wanting to embarrass ourselves. A lot of people are embarrassed to pray. I used to be that way. Trust me. Still am sometimes a little bit, but yesterday was like, I wasn't embarrassed at all. I'm like, this lady needs help. We need to get beyond us and look who needs our help.
Yeah, no, there's nothing better than somebody that's hurting. And what I love is that you are right there. you actually didn't even have to go yesterday. You could have gone another day.
Or this is something I could have done online as well.
But he went yesterday, and I believe that was God just setting him up to speak to her and to help her out. And so, I mean, we are there ready in season at all times. And just remember this. When we go to pray for somebody, it is not all you have to initiate it. But it's the Lord that, remember, he's the one that waters the seed. He's the one that gives the harvest. We just have to plant it. So we speak it and he harvests it, So don't feel like, that you've got to be all caught up on every scripture and know everything and have all those scriptures memorized.
You don't need to have anything memorized. It'd be nice if you did. That's always having like a little bullet in your chamber. You're like ready to go. But you just need to have a connection to the Lord and say, Lord, all you need to do is ask him, what do I say here?
Yeah.
And something's going to happen.
Yeah. And trust me, he knows the heart of every person out there. So if he tells you, like, if he puts you in a situation like that and says, now pray, this person has nobody else that's going to help her, then you do it. You do it unto the Lord. We try to do everything else unto the Lord, but when it comes to praying with a stranger, all of a sudden we're like, I don't know, because I'm going to feel weird or insecure or, just awkward and all that. Doesn't matter how you feel. How do you think the person is feeling right now?
Someone here is named Gorgeous Wales. I love
that.
Hi from Cincinnati. Hey, Gorgeous Wales.
It's such a great name.
Is that 2 whales or 3 whales?
I don't know. Or from Wales.
From the country of Wales?
I think so. I think it's from the country. And then let's see. What was this?
What's with all the dinging on your
I don't know.
Okay.
Learning so much on AWM. I'm not afraid to pray in public anymore. Yay!
That is
awesome.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Turn down your volume. There you go.
No, that was like our sound effects. Ding, ding, ding. Gretchen, you're awesome.
That's right.
No, that's really great. And so I love that. It's not, remember, you guys, it's not about us. It's about him and what can we do for him. And I know that, no matter what it is, Debbie had said something up here earlier that she thinks, let's see, that we need to,
Jesus says only to lift him up and he draws them to him.
Yes, I love that. That is so true. But Debbie said something up here. Maybe that's it. It's much a part of my life to thank and acknowledge people. I like to let supervisors know too, giving a good report. That's awesome to tell people that their employees have done a great job. It's funny because we have a pest control company / a gopher company that does our yard.
Right.
And so
a pest control company.
Yeah, pest control and gopher control. And so there was something that they didn't really live up to what they said they were going to do. Well, the woman that owns the company just happened to be at this event with us in Hawaii. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to tell her that her employees did this or that. But before I left before Friday, before the close of business, they called me and made everything perfect.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, I'm not going to complain to her. So she was so happy to know. She goes, this is the best news because I can only go by what I'm hearing in the office, but hearing it from you, from someone who's getting the service all the time, for you to say that they fixed what they said they were going to do and they weren't going to do, for you to tell me that, I know that the system's working.
We were just at a car dealership a couple of weeks ago, and the young man who helped us was so great, so nice.
Yes.
I made a point to tell his boss, hey, this kid.
Yes.
In fact, he even had a large part to do in me buying the car because I was interested.
Yeah, I know.
No, I was interested in the car, but he really, just because of him, and we got to talking to him.
And his knowledge of the car. He's like, what was he, 18? No.
He was like 20.
He was 20.
But he was taller than me.
The knowledge of this car, like he knew it. Yeah. And he really talked us into it.
Yeah, a really sweet guy. And but I made a point of telling his boss, hey, he's a good kid. He's a very good employee.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that guy.
Yes. Yeah, so
and he goes, I'll tell him that. And I said, good, please do.
Well, I want to read this. This is Hannah. She says, I appreciate when my soul sister takes time to tell me she loves me or she's proud of me, especially when she thinks and prays for me or when she makes time for me. That is great, awesome. And that's what is so important. If we can just take some time. We are all busy. I know it.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes, sometimes when I want to send something heartfelt, I know it's like, ooh, it's over a text because really, how can you express your heart in a text?
Right.
But Sometimes a text is better than nothing. Like for me, sometimes I don't have time to get into a whole conversation, but I do have time to tell you, hey, I love you and I'm thinking about you, and I'll text you.
Even a text like that can go a long way, guys. Here's one last thing from Jacquelinda. When I worked at Sears, I had a customer thank me for being kind to her because she had a wardrobe malfunction. I said, well, you never know what people are going through. She starts crying because she lost somebody, so I gave her a really tight hug and talked to her about Jesus. Now somehow everything will be okay. Wow.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's what we do.
That's what you have to do. And you know what? That's amazing that you did that, because that returns dividends to you. It really does. Not that we do it for that reason, but just doing that, it opens up your heart. It actually makes you see the world a bit differently when you can brighten somebody else's day. And by the way, that phrase, we hear that, it's such a cliche. Brighten somebody's day. It's true, but you really got to remember, hey, I'm put on this. Why are you put on this earth? Are you put on this earth to complain or to change people's lives for the better? Why are you put on this earth? You're not put here to complain. Trust me, everybody that complained in the Bible, God had a problem with or Jesus had a problem with. But if you're there and you're open to receive and learn and go duplicate Jesus somewhere else, then God loves you. I mean, God already loves you no matter what, but God is very excited.
He's excited.
He wants to duplicate you in that way. He wants to make you another version of him so you can go out and bless the world.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because one time I just wanted to comment on, you never know what people are going through. I heard a pastor talking about the fact that they were going to literally pull the plug on his wife. And he was on his way to the hospital to watch this happen. And he stopped at a gas station to get gas. And there was somebody there that just said, hi, you know, my name is so-and-so. And I was just in my car getting ready to leave, but the Lord told me to pray for you. Is there anything I can pray for you about? And it was like perfect timing. So that's why we never know. We've got to heed the voice, the unction of the Lord who tells us what to do and when to do it. And that's what we do. And so just wanted to add that. Well, you guys, thank you so much for watching.
We love you guys.
This week. We will see you next week.
We're going to be at another location next week.
Yes.
And we will be broadcasting from there. So we love you. And guys, listen, compliment somebody this week, especially your spouse or significant other. We love you. Please share this video. Don't forget Healing Journeys Conference. When?
June 17th and 18th, Charlotte, North Carolina. Go to healingjourneystoday.com. Sign up. Remember, it's free, but if you cannot go, unsign yourself.
And you can meet us in person.
Yes, and all the crew are amazing teachers.
We'll see
all of them. We also have a special guest as well. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
All right.
Love you all. We'll see you next week.
God bless. See you later.